On this episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, Lance is ready to give the old hot tour to the acolyte.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started, a life is a dream.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started indeed. You're locked into another episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. I'm Matt.
I am Lance.
Look at this, 2 weeks in a row. Hey,
Hey!
Breaking records over here.
This is what you call consistency.
Yes, it is. This is the face of consistency, boys and girls.
Technically, if you count the interview, it's 3 weeks in a row.
That is true. That is true.
So
But,
we are like hyper consistent right now.
I hope you guys all had a great week. Hope you guys all are killing it, enjoying being geeks and nerds in the culture out there. I wanted to start tonight's show off with a big topic, one topic that we've talked a lot about on this show and personally I've talked about on other shows, and Lance and I have talked about privately and with other friends of ours.
Dude, I told you not to put that stuff out in the air.
Hey, listen,
Private.
somebody's going to figure out and find out about you and Max's OnlyFans at some point. So you might as well just get it out there.
It's all feet, but not just
And air
not
it
the
out.
whole foot, like just like the
It's
big toe.
Lance's feet slowly walking up Max's disgustingly hairy back.
Yeah,
is what it
you
is.
think it's a shag carpet, but it's actually his back.
I was going to start off by being at the old man cast, which I feel like personally. All right, I'm going to start off with this. We'll get back to what I was going to talk about in a minute. I had the most embarrassing thing happen to me on Father's Day.
Uh-oh.
Father's Day was this past Sunday, and I like to do this sensory deprivation float. I like to be locked in a room for 90 minutes, floating in a saltwater tub, butt ass naked, and just, letting my mind wander, relaxing, doing what I need to do. So
you think that you're in there relaxing. We're just getting you ready for a brine.
hey, that's all right. If you want to eat this, that's your own problem. But so my wife got this for me my birthday, but I was still recovering from my past surgery, so I couldn't like soak and do all this stuff. So I got cleared last Thursday, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Father's Day, I'm gonna have a day of relaxation, and I'm gonna go do this. So I get to the place, and I start to walk in, and I pull my phone up to get the code, the barcode that my wife sent me for the gift card she bought for it. And I'm not paying attention, and I misjudge the curb.
Uh-oh.
So I trip and fall, and I fall into a bush, and I go head first into the building.
Uh-oh.
So I cut my eye. I'm bleeding from my eye. My knees are all skinned up and bruised. My wrist is severely sprained, and I like scorpion, and my back cracks. And so I'm sitting there for a minute, and I'm like, I'm fucking paralyzed now. I am absolutely paralyzed now. And the lady and the guy who owned the place come out, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And I was like, yup. And I jumped right up. I was like, all right, I'm not paralyzed. Sweet. Like my feet had the the feeling like your foot fell asleep, like the tingles.
Uh-oh.
I was like, all right, I'm all right, dude. So I went and did my float, and they have like this petroleum jelly you can put on your cuts and stuff so the salt water doesn't get them. So I do that on my knees and my arms and stuff. And yesterday, I went to the doctor, and just for a routine checkup, and I was telling my doctor that I fell because she was like, she saw the giant bruise on my knee. Like it's like deep purple. And she goes, "What happened? Did
Smoke on
you?"
the water.
Yeah, she's like, "Did you fall?" And so I explained the whole thing to her. And she's like, "Well, let's go ahead and get an x-ray of your knee and your back and your wrist."
Of course, because they want that money.
Well, I already met my deductible for my surgery, so I'm good. They can have it because it ain't coming from me. So I get my results back last night, and it turns out I have tissue, like sprained tissue or tissue damage in my back. because my back, the middle of my back's been hurting and sore all week. So I have tissue damage on my back. I have a severely sprained left wrist. And then she goes, "You have an extremely arthritic knee." So I'm like, awesome. 39 years old. Got arthritis already. And
Jeez.
she's like, "Well, you could do physical therapy, but you're probably going to need a knee replacement at some point." I'm like, "You're already telling me at 39 I need a knee replacement. Like, what
Isn't that
is
something
this?"
you've been your knee, but you've been complaining about for a while?
I've had problems with my knees since playing football in high school. Like, just breaking my legs and stuff and tearing ligaments in my knee and things like that. So I've had knee problems for a while. Like San Diego last year, I stepped wrong coming off the escalator and my knee swelled up and I was fucking miserable all weekend. So
Yeah,
just,
that sucked, man.
another
And then
icing on the cake.
trying to get you a scooter. Those guys
Yeah,
were
well.
dicks.
I'm gonna ride around on a scooter.
So that story is a story in itself. We try to go get you a scooter.
Yeah.
And they say, "Hey, they're all gone, but come back really early tomorrow before they're all gone." So we get there like earlier than we've been all week. And we get there and like, "Oh no, these have been reserved for months." There was no possible way.
I never want to
get
be one of those fat guys that's riding the scooters because he's fat and doesn't want to walk. But basically now my knees are shot. So, and I've got medical confirmation that my knee is shot. So that's cool. So she's talking to me about trying to do physical therapy for it and shit like that. So I'm going to see if I'm going to do that. But it was just embarrassing to go fucking head first into the building and be like, "Oh shit." And then be like, "I'm paralyzed now. This is what a way to be paralyzed."
Especially after you just got back from
right. I just got
surgery.
done fucking. So then I come home and I have a flat tire on both cars.
What? Someone
My
slashed your tires?
My front passenger on my car is flat, and the front driver on my wife's car is flat.
Were those two tires facing each other?
Yes.
So somebody fucked with your cars.
I don't know if anyone fucked my car. Oh, well, no, because when we took my wife's car in to get, like, her car was still drivable. Like, I was able to put air in it, and we took it to discount, and they said there was a nail.
Okay.
But my car it's like so flat. Like, I can't even put air in mine. So at some point I have to take my tire off and go get it fixed and yada yada yada.
With your arthritic knee.
With my arthritic knee. Let's go.
I finally got both of my cars back. So the one I just got has been in the shop because I knew that was going to happen when I got it, which is my uncle gave it to me, and now it's running great. He drops off my car, takes the Suburban because it needed some work, brings the Suburban back and be like, "Oh, hey, I forgot to tell you, I found this other stuff wrong with your car." So now he's got to come get my other car. It needs new like crossbars or something like that. Like it's all rotted. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, how much? And we just had to replace the washer and dryer. Like, I'm so done spending money on shit.
Adulting sucks.
Like, it sucks.
I couldn't wait to grow up. I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to be an adult." Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm here with my kids, and I'm like, "Stay kids as long as you can, man. Don't grow up."
Well, our parents told us that when we were growing up, right?
Yeah, it sucks. Never get out alive. But what are you gonna do? But that's my trip in old man land.
Yeah, we're all getting there.
Face down my midlife crisis of 39, the embarrassment of falling, and now arthritis. So, I'm officially can't stop someone being like, "Fuck, you're old," because apparently I am. But back to the topic at hand, what I started the show off about. I want to talk about superhero fatigue. The conversation we've had in many circles. An interesting voice came out about superhero fatigue over the last few days, and that voice is Homelander himself, Anthony Starr. He did an interview with Sita Blend, and he made a comment on superhero fatigue. And he said, when asked about superhero fatigue, Anthony Starr said, "No, I don't feel like it's a thing at all. Actually, I question where the fatigue lies, and I think without digging into the specifics of anything that has or hasn't been successful, I'm very curious to see what happens around any notion of superhero fatigue when James Gunn's superhero projects come out. I don't think the audience is fatigued. Let me put it that way. I think the audience is hungry. We were just down in Mexico for CCXP down there, and they are hungry as hell for superhero content." So basically he's saying it's not that the fans are still there, people are still hungry for it. It's not superhero fatigue, it's shitty writing.
Yes.
And they want to see something different. They don't want to see the same thing play out on the over and over again.
Or if it's the same thing, like, okay, Deadpool, for instance. Didn't Deadpool just break the record for pre-sales? Deadpool 3?
Yes.
It did like phenomenal numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a superhero movie. But there's been a appetite for that, and they've been largely the same. Like, this one has the added benefit of bringing Hugh Jackman back, right? So there's a little bit of a clickbait. I don't know what else to call it there. But
well, Deadpool 3 has a lot of things working for it. It's the return of Hugh Jackman, the R rating, the success of Deadpool 1 and 2. People are already invested in this character. They brought back everybody from the original movie. They didn't recast. So all the major players that you're used to and love are back.
Except for
except for TJ
Miller.
But really his character was kind of a throwaway anyways.
Yeah. So, but the point I was trying to make is we've seen that 2 other times, right? This is the 3rd time we've seen that. It's doing very well. So I think that adds weight to the argument that we just want good writing, right? Then you look at Madam Web. Madam Web just had its cards stacked up against it before it even came out, right? There was reshoots galore. There was a will they, won't they aspect of Peter Parker being in it in some capacity. Turns out he wasn't.
He was in the womb.
Yes, but they don't. So there was a scene, I guess, where they actually call him Peter Parker, and they cut that scene. So they don't say who it is. We're alluded to as an audience to who that is, but they're very cautious about saying the name Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Morbius. There was a poster of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man that they cut from the movie, saying murderer or something like that, right? So.
Yeah.
So all those movies have stuff that's just working against them.
Mm-hmm.
Largely the people writing it don't understand the source material whatsoever. Look at Kraven as a good example.
Well, we
of that.
can't judge Kraven yet because we haven't seen Kraven. Like,
we know how much they changed it.
Well, I'm okay with you taking certain liberties with characters as long as it still makes sense. Madam Web didn't make sense,
right?
Because she's there, she's doing different things, pulling from different origins, including characters that should not have been included at this point in time.
Yeah.
Pushing away characters like Peter Parker that should have been included at this time. So Madam Web is a different story. The book is still out on Kraven. They haven't really achieved that. Like, even though Venom has had monetary success, so much so that it's getting a 3rd and final movie, they still haven't really done true to that character.
Oh, I agree.
But James Gunn went on someone asked him about Anthony Starr's comments, and James Gunn said he agrees with them. He's like, too many genre films have been retreaded of what audience have already seen. Gunn went on to note how that applies to even genres, and it's not listed or limited to superhero movies. So he's basically saying you're seeing remakes of the same movies, and you're seeing the same stories told through the same movies. Case in point, Hollywood has been nothing but lately but superhero movies and remakes. Or like the Bad Boys movies. I loved Bad Boys ride or die. But it is
pulling
a
on that nostalgia.
rehash. Huh?
It's pulling on that
and
nostalgia.
it's pretty much a rehash of Bad Boys for Life. And in a lot of ways. And so it's like you have, events happen where this bad guy does this thing and then they go to a different country and Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's characters have to go after him. There's no originality anymore in Hollywood because and I kind of secretly hoped that once the writers and actors strikes were done and they got their deals, that the quality of the projects and the quality of the writing of these stories would go up. Now, when it comes to superhero movies, we want to see them. I agree to that. But I want to see new characters with new stories, but I don't want to see the Marvel formula because we got that, but the Marvel formula, like I think we talked about last week, was introduce character, couple episodes, do a backstory on their heritage and their history, which sets X event in motion. That has been the Marvel formula across Moon Knight, Echo, Miss Marvel. It's been that Marvel formula where it's kind of just that rehash. There are different stories because they're involving different characters, but at their underlying core, they're the same.
Yeah.
We're not getting any, they're not pushing that line. Like if you look at the other Marvel movies out there, you can't say that Iron Man is the same as Captain America, is the same as Thor, is the same as Spider-Man, is the same as this. Like all those movies felt individual. The only really thing that connected them was, of course, the overall arcing story to get to Thanos. But you couldn't interchange these characters and have the same story. As to where I feel like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Echo, all of those stories are identical, that they would still work if you just swap the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, and Moon Knight is probably the most upsetting of all those that you listed, because the character of Moon Knight is so multifaceted and diverse that the show, and I know people that have said they like that show, but the show waters him down quite a bit.
Tremendously.
I mean, Moon Knight had the capacity to be, showing a side of Marvel that we hadn't seen before, like the true manicness, for lack of a better term, of that character, and they just completely watered it down for a general audience, and I think that was a mistake. And listen, there was aspects of Moon Knight that I liked. I liked Oscar Isaac in that role, but the writing was just bad. And here's the other thing, like, isn't the writer of Moon Knight also writing Fantastic Four? Or he's one of them doing a rewrite or something.
Is it Moon Knight? I know it's one of the Marvel shows.
But they're rehashing, or they're rehiring these writers that have come out with these properties that were less than good, to be polite. And meanwhile, the guy that's wrote the one good thing in the last 5 years that we've gotten from Marvel is let go.
Well, Marvel is putting all of their eggs in this Deadpool Wolverine basket. So much so that
they have nothing else coming out this year.
Well, so much so that Sean Levy, the director of the Deadpool, has been named as the front runner to direct multiple Marvel movies moving forward, including Secret Wars.
Which, isn't he a comedy writer?
His genre is more comedy based.
Because he did Fall Guy too, right?
Yes, he did.
So he did Deadpool 2, He's doing Deadpool 3 and he did Fall Guy. The 3 that I could think of, right? Because he did Deadpool 2, I think.
Let's see.
Sean Levy, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Deadpool, Wolverine, Free Guy, Real Steel, Night at the Museum, The Atom Project.
I meant Free Guy. What did I say? The
Big
Fall
Fat
Guy?
Liar, The Internship. You said Fall Guy, yeah.
That's the new one, right? With Ryan Gosling.
Wait, he directed Just Married? Yeah, he did. He directed Just Married with Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy, which
I actually like that
I
one.
like that movie, yeah.
But he's had some stinkers in here too.
He did all the Cheaper by the Dozens movie. Why him? He's got a lot of comedy. What Happens in Vegas with Ashton Kutcher, The Rocker, which is a movie I love.
Oh yeah, Rainn Wilson. That movie
he didn't direct The Rocker. He must have wrote on it because,
let's take away producer and actor, and let's see previous. So I'm just looking at directing roles. Atom Project, Free Guy, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Night at the Museum. He's done quite a few at the Night at Museums.
He directed the famous Jet Jackson, the movie. Do you remember Lee Thompson Young? Rest his soul in his Disney Channel role of the famous Jet Jackson. Well, he directed the famous Jet Jackson movie.
Yeah, he did the TV series and the movie. Jet Jackson, the movie, and the famous Jet Jackson, it says here.
So he's had some stinkers, yes, but he's also had some hits.
Yeah. Big Fat Liar had Amanda Bynes in it. I like to
talk about a tragic story.
Yeah, but is Secret Wars going to be a comedy movie? Because his entire repertoire, I don't see anything that's serious.
Well, I would say Real Steel is probably.
But even
serious.
that, like the whole notion of it is dumb. It's basically a live action Rock'em Sock'em.
Yeah, actually, I really like Real Steel.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, is that the tone that you're going for with Secret Wars?
Maybe.
Because you could say like stinkers to the good ones that he's right. They pretty much had a very similar tone with the probably the outlier of Real Steel, which I still think Real Steel has a lot of comedy in it. Real Steel and Atom Project are probably closer alike than his other things, but he's done a lot of comedy movies. And apparently Stranger Things, it says he's listed as a director.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says. He's directed 8 episodes of Stranger Things, it says.
Oh, shit. Did not know that. That's cool, though.
So, yeah, I don't know. That just seems weird to me. But he does have, I guess, if he's doing that Ryan Reynolds is definitely going to be in Secret Wars. Because it seems like Ryan Reynolds and him are attached to the hip.
That has been one of the talked about plot lines for Secret Wars, is that part of Deadpool is them collecting variants trying to collect variants to face off on Battle World for Secret Wars. So he's trying to build a team for Secret Wars.
Which last time he built the team, it went so well.
And so Hugh Jackman will be supposedly reprising his role in Secret Wars as well. But
so it's my understanding that the Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine he's playing, is different than the one from Logan. Like that was like,
yes, he's playing a different variant. He's playing a Wolverine where he basically failed and let everybody die in his universe.
Yeah, which we learned that from the trailer. He's a little bit more beaten than the one we know.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I think that Deadpool, I think why Deadpool is succeeding is the fact that Kevin or Marvel needed Deadpool more than Deadpool needed Marvel. Does that make sense? So Ryan Reynolds and his writing team came in, wrote Deadpool 3. Kevin Feige says, I want you to do this, this, and this. Ryan Reynolds says, fuck off. Right? They wanted a teaser scene with the Silver Surfer. They wanted to include certain stuff in Deadpool. Kevin Feige did. And Ryan Reynolds basically wrote the movie that he wanted. Kevin Feige couldn't fire Ryan Reynolds because who's going to go check out a Deadpool movie if it's not Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, he
attached
is Deadpool.
He's attached to the character.
All intents and purposes, he is Deadpool.
And I know that this Deadpool is a bit goofier than some of the fans of the original Deadpool could care. Like, he's gotten a lot goofier in the last few years, right, than the original version of that character. So I know that there's some people that don't necessarily care for it, but Ryan Reynolds is the reason why that movie does well. He believes in it. It's a passion project. It's widely speculated that he's the one that leaked the test footage that we got that kind of greenlit the first Deadpool movie. So Kevin Feige needed Ryan Reynolds more than Ryan Reynolds needed Kevin Feige. And so
I think that statement holds true recently, but if you go back to like 5 years ago, that's not the case. I think if it was 5 years ago, and if Marvel continued on their massive success of casting,
it would have been different.
I think they wouldn't have thought twice about telling Ryan Reynolds to kick rocks if they had to, because there's plenty of other up and coming actors and comedians that they could pull in to do this role. But the only Fox property that was a proven winner was the Deadpool movies. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So why not bring Ryan Reynolds on? Why not let him make the Deadpool movie he wants to make? Why not say, here's the parameters of what we're trying to do and where we need to get from point A to point B. Get us there. And yeah, I'm sure Marvel and Disney along the way said, well, can you do this? And can you change that? And this and that. And Ryan Reynolds said, nope, this is what I want to do. This is what makes sense. He's been in the writer's room, been part of the writing team for the last 2 Deadpool movies. Why mess it up?
Oh, he's heavily involved.
And
Deadpool is him as much as he is Deadpool. You know what I mean?
I can tell you that I am a little worried about this movie.
Why?
People are going to go put their butts in their seats to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds together. No question about it. This movie is going to sell big. But there is one caveat that this movie's been doing, one trend that this movie's been doing, that in the past, with movies like Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice, The Justice League, Aquaman, The Flash, they have all fallen into this to tip their hand on the quality of the movie. Do you know what that is?
No.
They give away too much of the plot in the movie in the trailers. They have too many trailers. This movie should have had 2 trailers. That's it. But the fact that we are getting a trailer for National Best Friends Day, trailers for everything. Every holiday, we've gotten a new Deadpool Wolverine trailer showing off new things. They're giving you so much. And now, I know a lot of that probably won't be in the movie, yada, 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 but they're giving away so much, showing so much. There's a joke in the newest Deadpool Wolverine trailer where they go up to the giant man skeleton as it opens up, and Ryan Reynolds says, whoa, Paul Rudd finally aged. That would have killed in the theaters.
Yeah.
Killed. And you're showing it in a trailer.
That's a gripe that I have with a lot of these comedy movies is they show the best jokes in the trailer. Maybe not plot, but jokes in particular, jokes that would just have. Could you imagine if Endgame, if they would have shown Captain America picking up Mjolnir in the trailer?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
It would change it would make that moment the same at all. Like if you watch being there in theaters with people when that happened and they're like, oh my God, they're going nuts because they hinted at it in Age of Ultron. But when he finally does it in Endgame, people go nuts.
Or No Way Home, when Toby and Andrew walk through the portals.
Yes. And again, but that movie got ruined because of leakers. Everybody on the internet, and it was a time of COVID. It was a time where there should have been no leakers because people weren't supposed to be out of their house. It got spoiled.
Yeah. But you got to admit, the Marvel and the actors did a pretty good job of trying to, like Andrew was, we all knew.
You deny because they contractually can't say, you're right, I'm going to be in this movie.
No, but he went like a step beyond that.
It's just like right now with Deadpool, everybody's speculating that everyone speculated that Lady Deadpool was going to be in it. The last trailer, we got that confirmation pretty much. Everyone's speculating that Taylor Swift is going to be Dazzler. And now they want to come out and almost certainly guarantee that she's going to be in the movie and say 100% Taylor Swift is not in this movie. Bullshit. Bullshit. The minute you come out and say definitively this isn't happening, everybody knows it's going to happen. Because that's what they said about Spider-Man. Definitively. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not in this movie. What happened?
It set off like wildfire.
Exactly. So that's the thing is like to bring it back to superhero fatigue. Like, yes, it is the writing. It's not so much these new characters. It's just the piss poor writing in these movies. And I don't know if it's because the writers knew they were going to go on strike, so they were like, screw this. They weren't happy with the deal they got beforehand, so it started in advance where they were like, screw this. It just...
What I heard is that after that strike, you're not going to see the effects.
What was that? Okay. I think we're being censored. We're being censored by corporate Disney. They replayed our intro.
You're not going to see the effects of the writer's strike in the actual writing for at least 2 to 3 years. It's only been a year. A lot of the stuff that's coming out was already written, I don't think we're going to see, if it does have an impact on the level of writing, right? If it does have an impact, it's going to be 2 to 3 years before you see that impact.
I don't think so. I think you're going to see it. You're going to see it come Superman, the James Gunn stuff. I think that's kind of what Anthony Starr was getting to, is that James Gunn is going to be looked at as the savior of the comic book movie because he's going to give you a fresh spin and take on this. And people are going to be like, oh my God,
Is it though? Is it a fresh spin? Because I think what he's going is traditional. I think he's going traditional. This is what you guys all know from the comics, and this is what I'm going to put on screen. I think that is going to be the savior.
I don't think so. I think the Superman we're going to be getting is a more Henry Cavill's Superman, the way I take it, and maybe I'm off, is kind of like he was looked at as a god. So he felt like, I'm morally obligated because I have powers to do this.
Well, Zack Snyder's whole motive for the entire DC EU, or whatever you want to call it, Zack Snyder's universe, was the Bible.
Was to look at them like gods.
Yeah, it was an allegory for Christianity, is what Henry Cavill was supposed to be, like this Christ-like savior. I mean, they kill him, they bring him back like he's resurrected, and he was supposed to be this Christ-like figure. So, and Zack Snyder has confirmed this. Like, the whole thing was an allegory for Christianity.
So I think, go ahead.
From everything I've seen, from all the teasers coming from James Gunn thing, even down to the casting, like how these actors look. I mean, did you see the guy they got to play Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah.
From Santa Clarita Diet, and he's been in other things that I like.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name. He looks like Jimmy Olsen jumped from the page.
Yeah.
Like I truly think we are going to get a traditional Superman.
Well, I think we're going to get a more flawed Superman. I think we're going to get more of seeing a Clark Kent that's struggling with,
Yeah.
do I want to be Superman? Am I morally obligated to do this? Do I want to take this on? And you kind of get that from the first teaser trailer. He shows the suit where you got that big like ball of energy in the background going off. It looks like Goku shooting a Kamehameha, and Superman's just putting on his boots. I think you're gonna get a more morally flawed, morally questionable. Maybe not morally flawed, but a more questionable. Like, do I want to do this? He's kind of struggling with his place of being a normal person and being a superhero.
Well, couldn't you say that was true of the Christopher Reeves, the first movie? I think so.
I think
he wanted a normal life, but had this tether to his his powers and stuff. But I think his heritage. But I think he wanted to leave a normal life, and he was struggling with that. And then you look at the Adventures of Superman. I don't know if you're watching that show, the new show, cartoon.
My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, which I love that show. Like, it is awesome, very anime style. But he's flawed. But it harkens back to what I remember Superman being, is that he's not this all-American Boy Scout like Steve Rogers is, right? And Steve Rogers started to show some of his flaws towards the end of the road, right? But in the beginning, Steve Rogers just seemed to be this all-American Boy Scout, didn't do anything wrong, was perfect in every way. And that's what Henry Cavill's character kind of felt like to me. I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. I thought he looked the part. The writing was bad, despite what Max says. I know
there's a lot bad with that movie.
Yeah, but I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I would have liked to see him in the role as a reboot. Forget everything that happened. I would like to see Ben Affleck still be Batman. But I think that James Gunn is not so much going to turn this whole thing on its head. He's going to give true fans what they want. Zack Snyder's whole initiative was, how can I fuck all this up? Like, how can I completely flip it on its head, make it different, make it something that, I mean, we see that with his version of Justice League. How can I be so artsy and so fucking neurotic about making this movie, right? Let me make it on an old film camera. Like, Zack Snyder's whole thing is, look how much of an artist I am. Look how I made this thing. I hate it. I hate Justice League. But James Gunn, I mean, Rachel Brosnahan casting her as Lois Lane, like, looks like the Lois Lane I know from the comic books.
Yeah.
Very plain, could pull off the reporter thing. Like, Corn Sweat I hate his name. Corn Sweat. Isn't that it?
Yeah, I think so. I like the casting of Millie Alcock as Supergirl. I would have much rather her been Gwen Stacy in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, but I'll take.
Do you think we're ever gonna get that?
Gwen Stacy? I do, just because of the way they went with Mary Jane. I think
Gwen Stacy was supposed to be before MJ, right? If I remember correctly.
But I think that where it's interesting where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man steered away from Mary Jane. We were supposed to get Mary Jane in
Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, if we were ever going to get a third one. Like, she was apparently supposed to be.
She filmed
an after credits scene. Yeah.
No, it was more than after credits. It was 5 or 6 scenes with her in the movie. Like, there's images of these scenes, like different settings and stuff with her in it and Andrew Garfield. Like, one with her on a bike, one with them in front of like a bakery or something like that. There is scenes. There was supposed to be numerous scenes. They cut her completely from the film.
Good.
Well, I liked her as MJ. I like her a lot better than I like Kirsten Dunst. As much as I love the Toby movies, but those movies are heavily flawed. But I think it's interesting that you think Gwen Stacy, because I think that this opens the door for Felicia Hardy. Because now his whole personality is superhero, right? Peter Parker's gone. All he is Spider-Man.
and that's what the rumor of Spider-Man 4 is going to be, is that Peter Parker is going to be taking the back seat. So you're not going to see him as much as Peter Parker as you are as Spider-Man.
And if he's going to be mostly Spider-Man, doesn't Black Cat make more sense? I mean, they've been trying to put Black Cat in a movie for years. I mean, there was plans to do it with Sam Raimi's. There was plans to do it with, was it Mark Webb? Is that his name? The director?
Yeah.
Mark Webb. They've been trying to do Black Cat and the Sinister Six by that same token. And Spider-Man 4 is supposed to set up the Sinister Six from what I've read. But they've been trying to do Black Cat for years. A strong female character tied in the Superman or Spider-Man universe, I think they want that.
Well, I'm just saying Gwen Stacy because they're wanting to do this Spider-Verse stuff. They're talking about bringing in a live action version of Miles Morales. They want to get to this Spider-Verse stuff. And when you think Spider-Man, your most profitable characters in Spider-Man right now are Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen. So
yeah,
even if she was a version of Spider-Gwen or Gwen Stacy from a different universe, I still would have been all there for Millie Alcock for that role.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people are calling for the girl from Wednesday.
Oh, I like her too.
Wednesday's friend and roommate, or friend. I don't know if they were roommates, but friend to play Gwen Stacy.
She cosplays as her often. I don't know if you've seen her online, but several instances she's wearing like Ghost Spider or what Gwen
There's
Stacy.
a lot of, you gotta be careful with that too, because there's a lot of AI generated images of her.
Oh, it's from her
dressed
Instagram.
up like that.
Like I've seen it on her Instagram.
Art Germ, a popular artist, and Boss Logic have both made images of her as Gwen Stacy. So
I'm trying to see.
You just got to be careful with that.
No, these are on her Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, they're her. It's like her in her like bedroom wearing like a cheap Walmart like Gwen Stacy outfit. Like it's not an AI thing. I'm looking up fan cast. We got Sabrina Carpenter. No thanks. I like Sabrina Carpenter, but no thanks.
I don't. She's kind of gotten annoying for me.
We've got a lot of these I'm not even going to mention. Kiernan Shipka, who's from Sabrina. I think she'd be pretty good.
Yeah, she's the girl who played Sabrina.
Yeah, and the new Chilling Adventures of Sabrina or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
We've got Maya Hawke.
Nah.
I think she out of everybody I'm looking on this list, she may be. Well, there's a couple other ones I see on this list, but Maya Hawke is a good actress, dude. Like I think they'd be shooting for the moon for that. Because the only other good actress I see on here, well, Emma Stone, but
I would love. I would squirt like a girl on OnlyFans if they did. Emma Stone came back as Spider-Gwen. If they opened a riff in a live-action Spider-Verse movie, and Emma Stone walked out in the Spider-Gwen costume with the blonde hair, with the half-shaved head, I'd squirt like a girl on OnlyFans.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be a nice little bit of fan service. I don't know if I want to see her as Gwen Stacy, like as the permanent role, more like what they're doing with Lady Deadpool type thing. I hear it's gonna be Blake Lively.
Yes, that's what I'm assuming as well.
But the other one I see is Olivia. Like, how do I scroll over?
Olivia Newton-John.
No, Olivia Holt, who played Cloak and Dagger. She was Dagger in that show. I like her. Lily Reinhart from Riverdale. McKenna Grace. If they go the aspect of, or if they go the route of Into the Spider-Verse where Miles Morales is younger and Peter Parker is older, McKenna Grace could work because McKenna Grace is 17. and if they were making Gwen Stacy the love interest of Miles Morales and not Peter Parker.
I just like, for me, Millie Alcock sells it, dude. Like,
Yeah, but I think that ship has sailed.
I don't think so. I think they could pull it back. I think a lot of people, though, to get back to what we were talking about, a lot of people are putting their eggs in this James Gunn's going to be the DC savior basket. I have to say, damper your expectations, because James Gunn, yes, hit it out of the park with Guardians of the Galaxy, but the mainstream fans don't know who Guardians of the Galaxy is. They didn't know. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot more expectations.
There was no expectation there. Peacemaker, very little known about Peacemaker. Hit it out of the park there. People knew Suicide Squad because we had a movie before that, the Ayer Suicide Squad movie. His Suicide Squad movie was good, but it wasn't great.
Well, look at Guardians
Superman.
2.
Look, yes, Guardians 2. It's a big drop off from Guardians 1. Guardians 3 rebounds. But damper your expectations, because Superman, we've had Superman movies in the past. Everybody knows Superman. It's the most recognized character, most known character. This could be a big test for James Gunn. It's no coincidence that a lot of his DC stuff are people you've never heard of before. It's not a coincidence that Creature Commandos is a movie you're not talking about. We'll get to him in a second.
Could you explain to me why this Gwen Stacy casting has Ryan Gosling in here?
I don't know, but there's some big people, some big scoopers they're putting it out in the universe, in the Twitterverse, that there's some big Marvel news coming. San Diego Comic-Con. That Ryan Gosling is going to be our Johnny Blaze. He's going to be our Ghost Rider.
He is obsessed. He's brought it up several times on late show circuits. He wants to be Ghost Rider. I was kind of leaning towards Norman Reedus, but
I was too. But I think there's another name you got to be on the lookout for that, and that's Austin Butler
for Ghost Rider.
Yes,
he's too pretty.
He's got that movie, The Bike Riders.
Oh, I want to see that
coming out. I do too. But I watch out. I think he's an up and comer that Marvel will want to get in.
He's cheaper than Ryan Gosling.
Probably.
So, I mean, there's that.
But yes, Ryan Gosling, a lot of big scoopers are dropping hints that there's going to be a big major announcement come San Diego.
But that doesn't answer my question why he's being in a fan cast for
that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why.
It's all beautiful blonde girls and then Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, he's a beautiful blonde man. Can I say?
Okay, continue with your thought. I just had to show that for a second because
you lost. I don't even know what my thought was now.
Ryan Gosling's face just threw you off.
Yeah. James Gunn.
Yeah.
Hamper your expectations. Don't expect him to be this big savior. He tries to go with the unknown to hit out Creature Commandos. There's not a lot of,
and that's a cartoon, mind you.
Yeah, there's of the DC, and let me pull up the DCEU. Oh, no, it's not DCEU anymore, is it? It's
DCU.
DCU movies.
So
I'm trying to think of like the confirmed movies that are coming. Because I'm trying to remember.
Well, I know Batman Brave and Bold was one, right? Superman Legacy, which I think a lot of these names have changed. There is Creature Commandos. There was, we don't know anything about Wonder Woman.
So the Gods and Monsters.
I thought Gods and Monsters was part of Zack Snyder's.
So no, Gods and Monsters is the name of the first chapter of James Gunn's DCEU. So yeah, we have Superman coming July 11th, 2025. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, June 26, 2026. Then we have The Authority, which a lot of people don't know who The Authority is. Batman the Brave and the Bold. Everyone kind of knows that. Swamp Thing. We've got Creature Commandos coming. Peacemaker
Waller.
season 2. Everyone knows that. Waller,
Booster
people
Gold.
know. Lanterns, not a lot of people. I mean, yeah, we had the Green Lantern movie. We had Paradise Lost, which is gonna follow the Amazons from Wonder Woman.
Booster
there's
Gold.
Booster Gold, not a lot of people know about. Now
That one has a potential to be their version of Deadpool, I think.
Now we're getting a animated version of Blue Beetle, continuation of Blue Beetle through animation. So
Wait, so is it not going to be the same actors from the movie?
the dude who plays Jaime is going to be voicing the character, yes.
But they're not doing another live action?
They are not. They are taking it to animated.
That's a shame, man. I actually liked that one. Did you like Blue
That's
Beetle?
not to say that they won't in the future, but the next time we see Blue Beetle is going to be animated.
Did you like that one? The movie?
I did, yeah.
That's a shame, man. I was really hoping that he would be kind of the first. I really hope James Gunn keeps up with that, because that movie was a pleasant surprise.
But
that's my issue with these things too, is they look way too much into how much money did this movie make, right? Blue Beetle didn't make a lot of money because the marketing was effed up. Does it belong to Zack Snyder's thing? Does it belong to James Gunn? Same with the Flash. Flash could have done way better if the marketing was better.
I don't think it's in the marketing. I think it's that by that time, the announcement that James Gunn was taking over and that everything was being rebooted and changed. And then you still had, Blue Beetle come out, the Flash come out, Shazam 2 come out, Aquaman 2 come out. At that point, nobody cared. They knew, why are we going to get invested in this? Why are we going to continue to be invested in this when they're rebooting everything? And that's why I think Flash did the best they could with what they had, knowing that, by giving you that twist at the end with having the George Clooney Bruce Wayne show up instead of having the Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne show up.
Didn't they film a scene with Ben Affleck showing up at the end?
I don't know.
Or no. Yeah, I don't remember. Whatever.
But
yeah, I think they could have come out and said, "Hey, Blue Beetle is part of our universe," or the Flash is going to set every.
He kind of did try to own it and say Blue Beetle's going to be the official launching point of the new James Gunn universe. And then it was, at first it was Superman, and then it was, okay, it's going to be Blue Beetle. So who really knows? But I'm going to go with the official launch of James Gunn's new DC universe is going to be that Superman movie, which, fingers crossed it's good.
My kid loves that Blue Beetle movie.
It's a good movie.
I took both the boys to see that movie, and Lex is indifferent to stuff, but William, he was like, "Dad, I want a Blue Beetle shirt." Like, he went and got a Blue Beetle t-shirt. He got Blue Beetle Funko Pops. He loved it. And it made me happy to see that, because the infatuation he had with this character was like,
Papa.
Well, it was like the first time I read Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, this is the guy for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of how I felt when...
And that's when Lance realized that he was into dudes.
But, I mean, I showed him the Flash, and he was like, this is dumb, Dad. He did not get into it. But he loved that Blue Beetle.
But to kind of hone us back in here, superhero fatigue, it's real in a sense. I don't think it's really fatigue. It's writing fatigue. It's creativity. It's how these characters are being portrayed and doing the same thing over and over again with no originality. It feels like the last phase of Marvel has just been, rinse and repeat. There's been no real originality in it. So I'm excited to see what new stories and new characters we get coming out of this.
The last
Hamper
original
your
thing that we got
expectations.
was No Way Home. I feel like everything else since then has been just kind of
rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to do something new and fun with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, well,
but Multiverse of Madness, I mean, you see only two different worlds other than the ones he's in.
Everyone should have sued Marvel for false advertising on that one.
That movie could have been awesome.
It was supposed to be scary, and that's why they brought in Sam Raimi, and B, it was supposed to be this multiversal voyage, and you went to like 2 universes and fell through 40 of them in a fucking one scene.
Well, anybody that thought it was going to be scary when they announced the casting of Sam Raimi is insane. Sam Raimi, yes, he delves into the horror aspect, but he is a horror comedy writer.
He delves into the horrors.
Evil Dead is funny, dude. With Ash and Bruce Campbell, that's a funny movie. Horrors. Right? It was all about, and you see a glimpse of that in Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock is like murdering everybody in that hospital room. It's very calls back to the old like Psycho scenes. Anybody that thought Doctor Strange was going to be scary needs to check themselves.
I think they just had high hopes for that, but given the subject material, but yeah, let's talk Acolyte episode 4. What did you think of Acolyte episode 4? And
better than last week.
Are you ready to bail on the Acolyte and give it the old hot bit on that thing?
No, I think Soul is enough reason for me to continue watching. I like him a lot. And this episode was better than last week because I think it wasn't so centered, like it didn't have the kids in it. I think that's where I struggled with last week, is it felt like this series had a potential to be very like adult in nature. And then throwing that episode, I kind of equate it to you're watching Harry Potter, those last like 3 or 4 movies where they're all dark, and then you throw in Chamber of Secrets in the middle. When they're kids.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so I don't.
Well, there's a very different tone.
I don't get your analogy.
There's a very different tone with the first 2 movies of Harry Potter than there is going
they
forward.
Get darker. They kind of get darker as the kids get older.
Yeah, and Chamber of Secrets feels like a Chris Columbus children's movie. I mean, the guy directed Home Alone, I think, right? Chris Columbus.
I don't know.
It feels like a children's movie.
He was an asshole apparently, and let it on Plymouth Rock.
Not Christopher Columbus.
Oh, my bad.
But that's kind of how episode 3 felt for me. It was like these badass first 2 episodes, and the third one was let's give something for the kids. You know what I mean? And then the 4th one came back, and it just didn't feel like it was the same tone in nature. But this last episode was fine. I mean, I like that she I'm interested to see what happens. Spoiler alert. She goes to kill the Wookiee Jedi, and turns out he's already dead by the time she gets there.
And that I like this episode for the most part. But talk about a fucking case of the blue balls, man. Because you build up, it's a whole episode of them. When I think about this episode, Randall's analogy of Lord of the Rings from Clerks 2 pops in my head, where it was just the Lord of the Rings is 3 movies of them doing nothing but walking. And that's kind of what I felt like this episode was. It was an episode of them doing nothing but walking. And at the end, you see May flip on her, her
partner,
right-hand man, her handler, or whatever you want to call him, and trap him, which I think he's the Sith that you see at the end in the helmet.
Dude, that would be wild for me, because do you know who that is? That actor?
Who?
He's Blake Bortles from Good Place.
Is he really?
Yeah. So to see him as a Sith, dude, would blow my fucking mind.
I didn't know that. That's
I'm
crazy.
pretty sure it's the same dude. I I think so. I asked Anna, I was like, is that Blake Bortles from A Good Place? Now I have to check.
There's no, it can't be.
I can't put that out into the Manny.
It is him. It 100% is.
I thought it was him. Dude,
It's 100% is.
Could you imagine the dude, Blake Bortles?
I like that you don't know his name. His name was Jason, not Blake Bortles.
That's all I remember. He's like, Blake Bortles. He was a huge Jacksonville Jaguars fan and constantly was shouting Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
But that dude is a Sith. You might as well make Danny DeVito a Sith.
I think it is. But anyways, so you get this whole episode of them walking. And then all of a sudden, he shows up at the end, tosses, what's her face aside? I can't think of her name right now.
Oshi?
Osha. Tosses Osha aside, and all of the Soul and all the other Jedi light up their lightsabers and start charging in, and the episode ends. Or they get blown back, and the episode ends.
Yeah, he looks badass.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
well, it's classic for Disney and these shows,
dude. But that whole time, and it was like a shorter episode too. It felt like the runtime was a lot shorter, and it's like, come on, man! Like, you could have given us some gold here, a little something, and that's what we get. And I applaud them. I'm just complaining because it gave us blue balls, and I was like, damn it, I want more now. I don't want to wait another week. I want more now. But
so you're that into it?
Yeah, I like it. I'm digging it. The writing isn't great at times. The acting is kind of wonky at times. I love Soul though. Soul, I think, is the bright spot for me of this series.
Absolutely, he's awesome.
I
was kind of interested in seeing that Wookiee do some lightsaber battles, dude. Like,
yeah, that would have been cool. Instead, you just see him gardening and then get fucking run through.
Which, why? Okay, so it seems like Soul is pretty active through. He's still a Jedi, still practicing. Why have all these, like, the Wookiee just vanishes for a year? The other guy's been meditating for 10 years. Like, why did they all, like, leave the Jedi? That's what I want answered. In addition to who the Sith is.
What do you mean? Why did they all leave the Jedi?
Well, they didn't leave the Jedi, but like the one guy went into meditation for 10 years, like hadn't spoken to anybody. It was just, and then the Wookiee just retired to the forest and like completely, like, what happened? But Soul is still like, I feel like those, and maybe Idara or whatever her name is, Trinity from Matrix, it seemed like she was still kind of active, but maybe those three did something and Soul was like not a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, Soul's the only one that hasn't like retreated and retired, and the other ones have. Like, what? That's why I wondered, like we were talking last week, like, oh, May set off a fire and then killed everybody and then blames the Jedi for it. Like, I think there's more to that. That maybe
there is. You're gonna get more back. We're gonna unfortunately get another flashback episode.
Oshi thinks that Osha or whatever thinks that May started the fire. Soul thinks that May started the fire, but was actually the other three.
Well, you see her start the fire,
but you don't see the fire kill that whole room of people.
Right. Yeah, so she happens on that whole room of dead. So that could potentially be it, that they did kill all those people and we don't know.
Because it said several times, like, the Jedi don't pull their weapon out on somebody like defenseless or something like that, or they don't pull their weapon out unless they intend to kill.
Yes.
It says that several times. I was like, that's the most I've heard that line in any Star Wars. And they've said it like 4 times in this show.
Blake Bortles,
right? Dude? I can't believe you didn't catch that. I watched the minute he came on screen. I was like, is that Blake Bortles? Obviously not Blake Bortles, but
no, I did
Blake
not
Bortles.
catch it. Yeah, did not even remotely
worried
click
for
in
a
my
second.
head.
I was worried for a second that I was wrong, and I was gonna come off as like racist or something.
No, it would be racist because it's a TV character, but dude, that character never even clicked in my head.
Yeah, I can't imagine him as an evil Sith Lord.
Yeah, blue portals. But
It's like that guy in Loki that with the big eyes that is like goes by the book.
now that's racist.
No, he's not Asian.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the kid who plays Data in Short Round?
No, not Key White. Oh, however you say. The one with the big bulging eyes. He's Latino and he's got big teeth.
Whoa. All right. Let's just pump the brakes right there.
Everything I'm saying is how you would describe this guy. He's got a big
ahead
gap.
And pump those brakes, all right?
But he always plays a goofy character. Is what I'm saying. That actor, I don't know his name. He always plays like a really goofy character, and you put him in an evil role, and I just wouldn't buy it. I forget who it is.
I don't know who you're talking about either.
He not the guy, not Data, who writes the book. It's the guy that always has the handbook on him and is always referring to the handbook for anything.
I don't know who you're referring to. It's not clicking with me.
I'm gonna show you. Oh, he's right here. There you go. Present, share screen.
Let's break portals.
This guy.
Oh, okay. The dude from he's also was in Tacoma FD.
Yes, he is. He always plays funny characters.
Andy in Tacoma FD, yeah.
If he played somebody that was evil in a serious role, I wouldn't buy it. And that's a shame because maybe he's typecasted. I don't know. But he always plays goofy guys.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. Eugene Cordero.
I probably would have got that better if you had a better description of him other than dude
I was
from
going
Loki
off
with bulging eyes.
But you see how my description is accurate.
Yeah.
Now he's got like an overbite. He's not a bad looking dude. It's just that's how I see him. But yes, he's in Tacoma FD. Another show that's underrated. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Acolyte, in typical Disney fashion, they give you just so much to tease you, and then they coming next week.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Well, but I mean, this week the cut just felt so weird where they chose to do it, but it just leaves you wanting more to next week.
Which is
and
their
if we
whole
get
motive.
If we get a fucking flashback episode on Wednesday, I'm gonna be so pissed. If we left off with that fight and we don't get to see the climax of that fight and they leave us with we're going back to those kids again, I'm gonna be so mad. If it cuts to Soul training OSHA, I'm gonna be so pissed.
You'll probably get some of that.
That's fine, but I don't want to see it right off the bat. I want to see
I'm sure
that
it's gonna
fight
be right
finish
off the
out.
bat.
I want to see who that Sith Lord is, or the Sith
If
is.
they choose to show you Soul training OSHA and all that stuff, it's gonna be the first scene. I'm gonna
turn the episode off and be like, I'm done here. We're done here.
It's gonna show you at the end.
I don't want to see it. I know we're gonna see it, but I don't want to see it first thing after you leave us on an episode like that. Like, finish it.
I mean, X-Men did it. X-Men did it to us.
And
Kill Gambit in the next week. Kill Gambit in the next week. We get Video Game World.
And I complained about it, and that's one of my biggest gripes about X-Men 97 is the fact that you had a really badass episode, and then you had a soft ass episode that has nothing to do with last week's badass episode.
Yeah, I could have done without the video game one, but
without the Forge and Storm.
Yeah, but that one at least pertains to the
quest.
story a little bit. The video game one just seems completely out of left field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not saying? The video game one
No
just felt like
regrets.
no regrets. The video game one just feels
regrets.
like CW filler episode.
Yeah. I just
Um,
I hate that shit, man, when they do that, and it drives
That's-
me nuts.
CW is notorious for that shit. Pisses me off.
But let us know in the comments section whether or not you're liking the Acolyte. If you're still there for the ride, if you like the flashback episode with OSHA and May as kids, or if you're not liking it, what you don't like about the series, get a discussion going.
Yeah, are you gonna continue tuning in?
Yeah,
or has it
for
lost
sure.
you? But one that I'm definitely gonna continue tuning in on, The Boys. Which, by the way, you told me last week. Oh shit, The Boys finally showed me something that's hard for me to watch. That happened to me this week. I literally was laying in bed watching the show, and I had to put a pillow over my face so I couldn't see what was happening on the screen.
When the dude was on fire?
No.
Or
when putting
Homelander
the
lasered the
ice
dude's
pick.
nuts? Oh, the lobotomy.
Yeah.
That was badass, dude.
I couldn't watch. I have a weird thing with my eyes. Like, I literally was like, nope, and grabbed the pillow and put it over my face. Like, I could not. I was trying everything in my power not to watch that shit.
The lobotomy was badass.
And then she's like, now tap it with the hammer. I'm like, fuck this, dude. Fuck this. That was harder for me than the ass eating scene.
I'll let you fuck me in the ass while we watch the Kim and Ray J video.
But other than that, that episode had a lot of disturbing shit in it.
I kind of felt like, I don't know, it was a nice change of pace, because I kind of felt like the first 3 episodes of this season were a little slow. The ass eating thing was a little much for me. But I did enjoy this episode, but I feel like there's a lot of predictability.
Yeah.
I don't think Butcher is dying. I think Butcher is becoming a soup.
Like a permanent soup?
So yeah, like he's taken so much of that temp V that now he's developing soup powers. You kind of see it like the chick who's running for like vice president who pops heads.
Yeah.
She gave it to her daughter, and her daughter's kind of got like that like alien type thing, but where or predator type thing where the shit comes out of her face, and like
she gave her compound V, not temp V, right?
Yeah. But I think Butcher has taken, because you see that like worm thing scurrying around in his body. And then you get to the scene where he's fighting like the evangelical, like Mr. Fantastic stretchy dude.
Yeah.
And then he like blacks out, and the dude like popped and all over the place, and he doesn't know what happened.
See, I half expected when that happened to see the senator standing there.
Yeah, I think Butcher's becoming a permanent soup. Which is going to, I'm still surprised we're 4 episodes in and we haven't got the connection to Gen V yet. They did kind of mention the missing kids from Gen V in the last episode, but we haven't seen them or heard from them at all yet. Especially,
I thought you were gonna see them when Homelander was in that facility.
Yeah, and especially with the way the after credit scene with Gen V was, where you see Butcher walking in.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch Gen V again. I think I don't think I paid as much attention to it as I should have.
How excited I have a feeling The Boys is going to become like your number 1 show, though, if what people are talking about actually happens.
What, Simon Pegg?
No, where the other Winchester brothers going to show up next season.
Oh, and dude, they have to. They have to pull the trifecta.
The Boys is just turning into nothing more than a fucking supernatural reunion.
Yeah, because they've had Jeffrey Dean Morgan, they've had Dean. Now they have to have Sam and Castiel.
So and they had the dude who wasn't
and Bobby Singer, the president.
Wasn't the dude who was eating his ass? Wasn't he God?
Yeah, he plays Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bobby Singer is the president. He's from Supernatural. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays John Winchester. Then you got Jensen Ackles plays Dean, and Chuck, which I can't remember the actor's name. So you got to pull freaking Sam and Castiel in there, and then it's the whole, because everybody else in that show, and I'm not sure, Castiel might have come after Eric Kripke, but you have like Crowley and stuff. Everybody else in that show, I think, came after Eric Kripke, who's the showrunner for The Voice. But yeah, I think that's why I like it, dude. I like that guy's writing. Like everything, like the first couple seasons of The Boys, the writing feels very similar to the first couple seasons of Supernatural. Obviously more adult. Can't put that shit on CW, but the writing feels very similar. But I'm more excited. Simon Pegg's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
And
so how do you think that played out? Do you think
the mom gave it to him?
You think so?
Oh yeah. And I don't think she stole the vial either. I think he still has it in his pocket. Huey. Is his name Huey?
Yeah, Huey.
Yeah. I think he still has it in his pocket. I think because it says when you first see her that she works for Vought.
Mm-hmm.
I think she got a vial of Compound V and gives it to Simon Pegg.
Or Temp. You think it's Compound or do you think it's Temp?
I think it's Compound. Because Huey stole Compound V, not Temp V.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I think that I kind of suspected that like he put the vial in with like all those like aromatherapy things she was doing, and she accidentally injects him with it.
why would you inject aromatherapy into his IV?
Well, she's into like that. Maybe aromatherapy is like the wrong word, but she's kind of into the like plant-based medicine where she's giving him all this like, you know, beetroot and all this other crap.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might.
I saw
like
a scene with him put it in his pocket though.
Well, right, he put it in his pocket, but who knows if he like did the old switcheroo and put it in something else, and that, you know, when she injected him with it, or the nurse is injecting him with the something to put him at ease, or who knows. But
well, he looked genuinely shocked.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good theory. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the mom.
I think it was
Giving it
her.
to
I think that she feels so shitty for being a bad mother and knows that Huey does not want his dad to die. And I think she's willing to do whatever it takes to repair that relationship.
Yeah, it's a good
I mean,
theory.
and what shitty dude, like, okay, I can't speak to his motives or whatever. You have a child, right? A child who's still, I wouldn't say Huey's developing, but he hasn't reached a status in his life where he's really that self-sufficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are technically a healthy human being, like, and you sign a DNR.
Right.
Like, I thought that was weird. Like, you're the only person in this dude's life, and you sign a DNR. Not only that, but you give power of attorney to your ex-wife who has been shitty that kid's entire life.
Yeah, who just up and left.
Decision making was not on par here, in my opinion.
It is a good show, though.
It is good, and it's a blessing, but also sad that it's ending after next season.
Well, and I think it's going to end after next season, and they're going to focus on Gen V. They're going to move forward with Gen V.
Yeah, but I like Gen V, but I think part of the draw of this show is Billy Butcher, Huey, Starlight, Homelander. Like, I think that those are, you know, like we've seen other spin-off shows, like spin-offs to wildly successful shows that just don't do as well. They do initially, but then they kind of drop off. And it's because those characters like don't transfer or whatever.
Mm.
I mean, Supernatural. Supernatural has tried once to get a spinoff. Then they got one on air, got canceled after one season. And now they're trying to do something else. Another sort of spinoff or something like that. Nothing's been successful. And the other show is the longest, I think it's the longest like sci-fi type show in history. Longest running. 15 seasons.
15 seasons.
It's crazy. 15 seasons for that show. It's nuts.
Nuts to butts, baby.
And I think Winchester's the first couple episodes did pretty well, and then it just dropped off.
Nobody cares anymore.
I liked it, but it had that girl that was runner-up for Supergirl, the one with the big eyebrows. Do you know what I'm talking about? She's like in that Disney Channel movie Zombies. My kids watch that.
No, I don't. I don't know who you're talking about.
She was an American Housewife. Did you watch that one?
No.
Little sitcom show.
Meg Donnelly?
Yeah. She's the main character in Winchester's.
No, thanks. Are you watching Winchester's?
I watched it. It was canceled after the first season.
Let's say a big Supernatural fan like you. Why aren't you watching it?
I did. Dude, I'm a huge Supernatural fan. I even have the anime, Supernatural anime.
I didn't even know it was an anime.
Yeah, they did the whole
That's
first
funny.
season as an anime. And I got it on Blu-ray.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. It's on high.
Kyle's like that too. Kyle's a big Supernatural guy.
Yeah, but I don't think he quite went as far as like digging up the.
He's watched it. He and I have talked about it. No, he's watched the anime.
Oh, he watched the anime.
Yeah, he and I have talked about it.
Shit about that fucking nerd.
He told me he watched it, unless he's just blowing smoke up my ass. But
nah.
But yeah, he and I have talked about it. He loves Supernatural.
He probably did. What a fucking nerd.
Supernatural's awesome, dude.
Nerds.
And what's cool about it is they get Jensen Ackles and
cool about it.
Jared Padalecki. It's so fucking awesome. How is that any different? How is that any different than watching like fucking Dragon Ball Z or some shit?
Dragon Ball Z is amazing.
I hate Dragon Ball Z. I'm not an anime fan in general, though.
You uncultured swine.
But I do like that new Superman show.
My Adventures with Superman.
It's kind of anime-y.
Anime-ish.
Have you watched it?
I have not.
The actor that does the voice is Huey of Clark Kent.
Oh, nice. I did not know that. Oh, yeah, Quaid. Dennis Quaid's kid.
Yeah, what's his name?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Dennis Quaid's kid. That's his name.
Dennis Quaid's son, Billy Bob Thornton.
He's also does the voice, the main character in that Star Wars
Jack Quaid.
Lower Decks. Jack Quaid. In Lower Decks, he's the main character. So,
oh shit! I didn't know Meg Ryan was his mom.
Yeah,
I knew Dennis Quaid was his dad because he looks just like his dad. I didn't know Meg Ryan was his mom.
Yep. Old City of Angels. You got mail. But I don't know. I'm here for the boys, man. I really like that show. It's a bummer that it's ending.
Yeah, I'm down for the boys. I've enjoyed it so far. Like I said, I felt like the first 3 episodes were a little slow, and then you got the ass eating, and I was like, oh boy. But,
oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy. You got a bad kiss a pink eye. But I like the Homelander shit from this last episode where He's like,
I bought you an ice cream cake. Now I'm gonna murder you.
remember why you used to call me Squirt? Because you'd sit there and laugh at me when I jerked off, and then lasered the dude's penis, and then burnt the other dude alive.
That was fucked, dude. If you win this, I'll let you go home and see your family. Oh, just kidding. I'm gonna burn you alive.
And then they did like. It's interesting that they made a character out to be a bigger villain than Homelander, and they kind of did that with Firecracker in this episode.
Yeah, that was wild. And to see Starlight
just
flip
lose
out,
it, yeah,
rightfully so.
I like that, actually. I like kind of seeing her finally get off the sidelines and do something.
It makes you,
even if it was beating her to a bloody pulp.
it makes you because for a while I always thought Starlight was just kind of like, she never showed that like true strength or power. And I always thought like, oh, if Homelander gets his hands on her, like she's gone. She's done. But it kind of feels like she could maybe hold her own a little bit.
Yeah.
It made her a little bit more powerful. And I think that was by design, because that actress has been getting a lot of fucking trolls online, unfortunately.
Oh, because of her appearance change.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I don't think anybody should comment about what people do, but
I mean, it's very noticeable where she like tried to play it off like, I didn't have this done, and it's clear she's,
if she did or didn't,
it's something. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it's whether it's like
I still think she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is still very, very hot, but whether it was like she lost weight or she had plastic surgery or blah 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 blah, like it is noticeable. You can't say it's not noticeable.
Well, there's been lots of actresses and actors that have done that shit. I mean, Zac Efron did something.
I just think all he did was use the jaw block and chisel his jaw a little bit more.
I don't know, dude. It looks like a different dude.
Nah.
And even if he did, if you look that weird, wouldn't you stop using it? Like, it's like he continues to use it.
I don't think he looks weird. He's got a chiseled jaw, man. What do you want from him?
He looks like Lord Farquaad from Shrek.
He does not look like Lord Farquaad.
The jawline does.
Leave Zach alone. Leave him alone. Leave Zach alone.
As I say, I don't think anybody should comment on
Lord Farquaad.
Oh, dude, I just typed in Lord Farquaad Z, and it came up with Zac Efron.
The Muffin Man. The Muffin
Man. There you go.
Leave Zac Efron alone. He's a good kid. Don't need to be making fun of him about looking like Lord Farquaad.
You see this?
Lord Fartwad. What
the hell's happening here? Do you
see?
He
does not look like Lord Farquaad in that movie.
He's even got the same hairstyle.
Get out of here. Have you watched that movie yet?
No, I need to. I need to.
Good. So good. But
it's him, dude. What is happening here?
Farquaad.
What is happening here? This is the worst website in the planet.
Anyways, anything else pressing you want to pull out tonight? Talk about?
Is something impressive that I want to pull out? Is that what you just asked?
I said pressing.
Pressing.
I didn't say impressive because we both know that you got nothing impressive to be pulling out. I don't care what your wife tells you.
Little turtle dove.
Yeah.
No. No. I hope everybody had an awesome Father's Day, and because the last time we recorded the show it was before Father's Day, and hope you dads got some cool nerdy shit from your kids and wives or whatever, significant others. But nothing really. I mean,
I got nothing but falling down for Father's Day.
I want to try that thing though, that sleep deprivation thing.
It's awesome. I really like it. It's very relaxing.
Did you feel like different like the days going forward because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt more relaxed, especially after like falling and stuff. I felt more at ease and more relaxed. And
how long did that high last? I guess you could call it, for lack of a better term.
I mean, for a few days.
Oh, that's cool.
It's about a few days.
And what does something like that cost?
It's about $80. It just depends on how long you go. Like if you go for like 90 minutes, it's like $80.
It's not bad. It's less than $10 a minute. Or
so
$10. Yeah. So cool, man.
But yeah, that's gotta pay because they filter the water, and after every use, and then to pay for all their goods and salts and everything like that. So
you put petroleum. No, I think that's a fair price. It's less than $10 every 10 minutes. So
it's probably cheaper than a therapist.
Yeah.
I
don't know. No, it just sounds cool. It sounds like something I want to do. The other thing I want to do is the IV therapy. Have you seen that? It's like they put like vitamins in an IV. Supposedly that's amazing.
They do that after like you get drunk and stuff too.
Yeah, there's one for like hangovers, but there's another one that's like for clarity and stuff like there's a whole bunch of different things that they do.
That sounds
We
cool.
used to go to oxygen bars all the time. Are those still a thing?
No. Those are
kind
stupid.
of we did that for a while. It was all right.
Nah. Now you're fooling yourself.
It was more of an excuse to
I don't know.
Meet girls.
I've done it once and it wasn't my cup of tea. So
yeah, it wasn't like a big thing, but I do know that anytime me and my friends would go, it'd be filled with girls. So it was a nice place to meet girls. Or the hookah lounge. Are those still a thing?
No, I think those are all. I think most of those have died off. There are probably still some around, but that kind of stuff has kind of died out.
Yeah, it's been years since I've been to one of those. That was like every Friday night we go to the hookah lounge. King Tut's is what it was called. The one we went to.
You were searching for brick oven pizzas at Pizza Hut.
No. But yeah, nothing else. I'm just stoked for Deadpool coming out in little more than a month.
Yeah.
Not much to look forward to.
I
hope so too. I think it will be. I mean, I like Deadpool 2. I mean, it wasn't as good as Deadpool 1, but I liked Deadpool 2. I watched them both just the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I like Deadpool 2 also, but I'm just very skeptical with how much they're showing. Like I said, how much they're showing in trailers. Just very, very skeptical.
Now, you remember Deadpool 2 showed a shit ton too.
Yeah, and that was one of my gripes with Deadpool 2 is it felt like the entire movie was shown in the trailers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Marvel definitely needs to.
That was my gripe with Deadpool 1, to be frank, too.
Yeah.
So.
Marvel used to be the king of trailers, I felt like. And then the last 5-6 years, it felt like they just are giving way too much away.
Yes.
So
they are. But on that note, that'll be our show for this week. Let us know if you intend to see Deadpool. Nice. What do you think? Is Deadpool going to be good? Is it going to be all right? Is it going to be mediocre? Do you feel like it gave away too much for you to be interested in anymore? Let us know in the comment section below. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on so you know whenever we go live, because our schedule has not been consistent. I will say it. I am working with people to get more content on the channel, so we are talking about potentially starting a wrestling show on the channel if you're into that, or some comic book review stuff if you're into that kind of thing, just to try and get more content on the channel. But yeah, so Again, make sure to like the subscribe button. We appreciate everyone for checking out the episodes, everyone who comments, everyone who downloads our stuff. We greatly appreciate it. And on that note, for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I'm Matt.
I am Lance.
And we'll see you guys next time.
All you freaks and geeks.
Come all you freaks and geeks. Let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks.
Spread the cheeks.
And drink
And
some
Spread those cheeks
Cosby
for Lance,
wine.
Max.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some
yeah,
Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine. See you next time on the Absolute Geek.